Iowa's state medical examiner has released the autopsy report in the Mollie Tibbetts case. Adriana Diaz is in her hometown of Brooklyn, Iowa, with more.
20-year-old Mollie Tibbetts died from multiple sharp force injuries, according to Iowa's state medical examiner. They ruled her death a homicide. Cristhian Rivera, who's been charged with her murder, told investigators Tibbetts was bleeding from her head before he left her body in a cornfield down this road. The owners of the dairy farm where Rivera worked said he used false identification to pass a background check. The Iowa Department of Transportation also says they have no record of a driver's license for Cristhian Rivera. This woman worked with him for 4 years on the farm. She asked that we not use her name and blur her face.
When you heard the word Christian, what did you think?
Nosotros seguimos esperando que él sea inocente.
So you were hoping that it would come out that he's innocent, that the DNA would prove that?
She says in the 5 weeks since Tibbetts' disappearance, Rivera reported to work every day, acting normally. The case has reignited calls for stronger immigration laws. The president tweeted this video last night.
A person came in from Mexico illegally and killed her. We need the wall. We need our immigration laws changed.
Rivera's co-worker's an immigrant, and in response to the president's comments, she said there are bad people in every race. Mollie Tibbetts' aunt told us she doesn't want Mollie's memory lost among political agendas. The funeral has been set for Sunday. Tanya?
Adriana Diaz, thank you. For more, let's bring in Brianne Pfannenstiel. She is the chief politics reporter for the Des Moines Register and joins me now from Des Moines, Iowa. Brianne, thanks so much for being with us. How has the Mollie Tibbetts case shaped political conversations on immigration there in Iowa?
Just about as soon as we heard from authorities that the man charged with her murder is in the country illegally, it's really set off kind of a firestorm in the political world. Up and down pretty much from the Republican side. We've heard people saying that this is a clear example of why we need to fix the country's immigration system.
It is a terrible crime. Can politicizing it this way perhaps backfire on Republicans?
Absolutely. And I think we're seeing some Republicans trying to take a moment to say we're thinking about the families, we're thinking about everyone who's been affected, and we're going to wait to jump into the political conversations. They're saying that those should happen, but maybe it needs to wait just a little bit. So we've seen the spectrum. We've seen some folks say we need to give this just a little bit of time.
If you are a Republican, however, it would seem to be sort of great timing if you're thinking of pre-positioning ahead of the 2020 caucuses. Is that also factoring into some people's thinking?
Well, we've already seen Donald Trump jump on this issue. On Tuesday night, he was in West Virginia and had a rally and used this issue, brought it up to talk about immigration. And this is not the first time we've had a case like this in Iowa. There was a woman from Council Bluffs who was killed in Omaha in a drunk driving accident by an undocumented immigrant. And so we saw that come throughout the caucus cycle when Donald Trump was here campaigning. So this is certainly an issue that's going to continue resonating, and Democrats, I think, are dealing with the best way to respond to this, to say, we care about fixing immigration also. What points of this can we agree on, and where can we find some common ground on this?
Right. And how much of this do you think may be shaped by Mollie Tibbetts' own family's reaction? I mean, so far they've kept pretty silent on their feelings about the sort of politicization of the case, correct?
Correct. They've said, we really need some time to grieve and give us our peace, but there may come a time where they feel compelled to come out and make a stance on this. Mm-hmm. But so far, they've taken the time that they need.
Now, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, gave a speech in Iowa Wednesday night. What can you tell us about that?
It was compared to his previous speech, this was his second time visiting the state as a potential candidate. He was in Iowa about 2 weeks ago, speaking to a big room full of diehard Democrats. And this week, he was here speaking to a much smaller group. There are about 30 people. It was a reception for county Democrats. And so he gave very much the same points, but to a much more intimate crowd. And so he told these Democrats that, hey, look, I'm a fighter, and I'm running because we need somebody to take on President Donald Trump. And if he gets out, if Mike Pence gets out, then I'm done. That's why I'm here. So he was talking to these Democrats saying, you know, here's where I stand and here's why you should take me seriously as a candidate.
And how have Iowa Democrats reacted to Avenatti? Do you think his message is resonating there at all?
I think you've seen the full spectrum of people in their response to him. You certainly have some Democrats who are saying, this guy isn't for us. We need a serious candidate who can speak to the issues. But then you've had a lot of people who are really open to him as a candidate saying, you know, we agree, we need someone to fight and to take on this president. So last night in this room after he spoke, I was kind of, you know, polling the crowd and seeing how they felt. And people said they were pleasantly surprised. They were pleasantly surprised to hear him speak on issues. They were surprised and pleased to hear him take a lot of questions and to really engage this crowd of Democrats.
All right, Brianne Pfannenstiel, thank you.
Thanks for having me.